Getting started. How are you? Every day, not every day, today. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are talking about the eclipses. Oh my gosh, I was excited. Okay. Yeah, it gets a little intense when we talk about an eclipse. But welcome back if you are new. No, that doesn't make sense. Welcome if you are new. Welcome back if you are not new. Hello. Today we are diving deep into the eclipse season of 2025. I've already done the first season. Those videos are up for my 2025 predictions, which I've been mostly right. So go ahead and check out that. But trust me, this eclipse season is not one for the week. We've got a total lunar eclipse in the sign Pisces. That's going to be September 7th. We have a partial solar eclipse in the sign Virgo. That's going to be on September 21st. These eclipses aren't just about sudden changes, because that's what an eclipse mean. Usually sometimes death of a leader as well. They're about revelations, again ending, because we are dealing with Pisces energy. We'll get into that. But there's also some new beginnings with endings as well. And this is dealing with personal or collective energy, or both. Okay. I'll break down all of this and tell you some predictions. I'll tell you some hidden themes. I'll give you some advice. And whatever you need to navigate for this cosmic shift, I tell you the vibe in the sky, because I'm an astrologer, and that is what we are here for. Plus, I'll show you how to make the most of these transformative energies, whether it's within your relationship or your career or your social path. We have it all here for you. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I want to first talk about what an eclipse is and why eclipses are important. A lot of people watch like my full moon videos or new moon videos, and this one is bigger because eclipses are like the moons on steroids. Okay, so each year we typically have two eclipse seasons. Okay, and that's basically when the eclipses are clumped together, and they are consisting of no more than three eclipses together. So this eclipse season only has two eclipses, thank God. Okay. And this is our second season of this year. And the first lunar eclipse, no, I don't have the dates, but it's somewhere in my videos, the other eclipse. Actually, I can look it up. I can stop being lazy. Okay. And tell you what the past March 14th and March 29th, we had an eclipse in the sign Virgo, and then we had a solar eclipse in the sign Aries at 0 degrees. Ooh, okay. But yeah, so that is what usually we have for the eclipse season. And with the solar eclipse, it is when the light of the sun is temporarily blocking out the moon. The moon is our emotions, is our subconscious. And now the sun is blocking that light. Okay. And it dims and hides and conceals what is illuminating that light. Okay. Now, a lunar eclipse is when the moon is temporarily blocking the earth and it passes directly through the sun and the moon. And the earth now casts a shadow onto the moon, dimming its glow. Okay. In this case, the moon is reflecting the sunlight, but it's concealed by the shadow of the earth. Okay. That's your astrologer. No, whatever. The other way of science tea, if that's a word, science tea, definition of it. Okay. Now, when you have it in an astrologer way, one is a supermoon, new moon, and one is not a super, but like a steroids of a supermoon, of a new moon, and one is a steroids of a full moon. So that's why I'm like, you guys don't just watch because for some reason everyone's infatuated with the full moons and the new moons, but the eclipses set the standard and the routine of everything. Okay. And there's a lot of major themes. Okay. Now, what else do I have here in my notes? Because I don't want to forget to explain everything. With the eclipse, there's a connection. Oh, with the stock market crashing, there's always a death of a leader. Not always. I shouldn't say that, but that is just like the old school way of thinking things. And an eclipse is eclipsing something out of your life. And I've always said this every time I do an eclipse video, that an eclipse is God is giving us these eclipses because you are moseying along and you're just going this direction. And now God's like, no, 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 sweetie, you're going the wrong direction. I need you to turn this way. I need you to pivot. So usually an eclipse is for that. Major events that happen during eclipse season, we had not during this season, but because of an eclipse, 9/11 was a big one. Also, I have some stuff here, the Hamas attack on Israel. Doge, if you want something current, with Elon Musk. That was the eclipse dealing with Virgo, all the firing and diminishing of things. That also happened, and that's why eclipses are very important. And when you have eclipse, and if you get some knowledge out of this video, I would suggest you to journal and also to pay attention to your dreams, because this is connected to the moon. The moon is very affected, and when you have things connected to the moon, you always are dealing with dreams. And also too, one of these eclipses are dealing with Pisces, so you really are talking about your dreams. Okay. But yeah, the stock market, a recession, a lot of major events. I told you about the world leaders. They often point to imbalances in our lives and raise consciousness to these balances. The north node and the south node are a very key factor with any eclipse, because whatever that moon is sitting next to is going to say if you're going to gain something new or you're going to release something. Okay. And if you're going with the north node, you're gaining something. If you're going with the south node, you're gaining something, you're losing something. So I'll explain those two meanings with these eclipses coming up. And, a lot of people who don't like change really are fearful of eclipses. So maybe knowledge is more power for you. A lot of people who believe in divine timing and God, and you can have both, because you're human. So there's fear there. But you are understanding that this is a karmic transition happening. Okay, so the north and south node acts as portals to the cosmic energy flow, and they stay open to the whole eclipse era, either in its new events or certain events that we need to let go. And they're both are I don't know if you know this about the lunar or the lunar eclipse. I mean, the lunar nodes, they are called the dragon's head or the dragon's tail. So sometimes when people refer to the nodes, you will hear them saying that. So the head, of course, is the north node. The tail is the south node. Okay. And when you have it associating with that, you are talking about karmic workings, you're talking about timing, divine timing, and connections. Okay. Closer that the eclipse is to the nodes, the stronger the eclipse. And one of these eclipses are very close to a node. So we will talk about that. Oh, I have it here, so I don't have to look at it. It is 3 degrees away, and that is the September 7th Pisces eclipse. Get ready for that, okay? And I'll talk about all the Pisces themes and what that represents in the aspects as we keep going. Things we never be asked. What did I type? I talk into my notes here, and I don't reread them. I just talk and hope that the computer understands me, okay? They once were after okay, I don't know what I was writing there. There's a sense of, okay, so I already know my notes. I just like to keep on track and tell you what I'm thinking. Okay, so when you have an eclipse, I want you to be aware of that. There is this sense of like, something in my spirit is telling me to do this. I need to do this. And sometimes that eclipse sets that starting point, and you may not think it's a big thing. That's why I say journal, because then you can see how that unfolds later. So there's something in your gut, which is really your intuition and God, telling you to do something to pivot away from certain things. Okay. But there is a sense that the events are transpiring somehow beyond your control. Every time there's an eclipse, this is like, oh my gosh, no matter how much Virgos you plan and control thing, 6 house placements, it's not happening. Okay. And with the eclipse, it's letting you know that this is going to be an issue. Also, too, I want to tell you that your dreams, because we're dealing with eclipse, can help guide you through this eclipse. So always take notes when you are dreaming with your eclipse. You guys, I learned something new about castor oils. And if you rub castor oil on your belly button, okay, and put a little heat on it, like a heating pad or a heating blanket on it at night, you get some deep, deep dreams. Okay. It is insane. I sometimes are so shocked by nature and the simplest things of life. And I go on Reddit and I was proven right, because it was happening to me. And I'm like, what's going on? Just thought it was because I was a Cancer. No, 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 no. It is the castor oil. Okay. Anyway, that's just a little side bit. Also, there are many insignificant. I talked about that eclipse. An eclipse can last up to 6 months. You can start feeling an eclipse 2 to 3 months before. So I'm a little late in this video. but it's okay. If things start making sense to you, you're like, oh my gosh, that's the eclipse working on you. I have a family member who just bought a house and they're moving across state, and the eclipse is already affected. And this was already an event happening a few months ago. So that is just an example of how an eclipse can happen. And then around that eclipse is when it's like, oh my gosh, we're fully moving. But you were already developing that energy before that. Okay. Now let's say the eclipse touches your personal planet. Okay. Now this is really going to be strong for you. Okay. If it's going to be just a more of impactful, and not all eclipse affect everyone. Also too, where the eclipse is seen, it says it affects that collective area. The length of time of the eclipse says how long the energy will last. So if the eclipse is an hour, it would be a year. Okay, so that is what, and the minutes represent the months. Okay, so we have that. Now degrees are very important because the degrees also say if it's hitting your personal planet. So September 7th, the eclipse is at 15 degrees, and we'll get into that a little bit more deeper. So if you have any planets that are in 15 degrees, check out and see if this eclipse is going to affect you. If you are dealing with earth signs, it's going to help you in a very positive light. If you are dealing with mutable signs, there's going to be a challenge there around 15 degrees. Now the other well, and also too, if you're talking about Virgo, Pisces and Virgos, you're going to be affected. Okay, so we'll just say those placements. Now the second eclipse, which is in the sign Virgo at 29 degrees, is very important. Both of these degrees are very important too. Now 29 degrees, if you have some placements around Virgo around 29 degrees, this is going to heavily impact you. If you have any planets also in mutable signs, then it's going to affect you as well. And I forget, let me tell you, you guys who are mutables, I'm talking about Pisces, we're talking about Virgos, we're talking about Geminis and Sagittarius. That this is going to affect you if you have anyone in 29 or 15 degrees. Now, if you have any personal planets that are earth signs, not earth signs. Yeah, Virgo's earth, Pisces is water. These eclipses are going to affect you, okay? And not just in those signs, but are close to the degree, then the eclipse is going to be a bigger deal for you. Okay. Now, yeah, let me see what else. Yeah, that's what I have. I talked about. Oh, also too, I wanted to say it's death of leaders with a lot of eclipses, and the Yemen leader, I think he was from Yemen, and he was in a helicopter. That was close to an eclipse. It was like a month off from an eclipse, and that eclipse was also conjunct Mercury retrograding. So in Aries, and Aries represents a leader. Okay. And I bet you if I looked at that leader's chart, it was touching his personal planet. So things like that. Not all eclipse represents death, but yes. So we definitely have that. Now, if you guys are really enjoy this, every time I do a video, there is a special important video connected to this. And I do this behind my paywall. It's deeper. It's more raw. It's a kitchen talk. Okay. I wouldn't be scared to say things like death and endings. There will be no filter on there. Okay. Now I'm going to connect a video, and it's going to be about the degrees and the nodes and the insights of that. It's going to go a little bit deeper. So if you're really into this eclipse and really want to know more about it, click the link in the bio. Other things that I've done, I have like how to a survival kit for an eclipse, how you can deal with eclipses, Mercury, any type of retrograde. I talk about those and I go in depth with those. If you really want to know more about astrology, there's so many tools that I have for you. Also, if you're in tarot, and I have like all these day-to-day readings, daily readings, yes or no readings, all this, love, money, all that. Also, too, every season, I do like what are good dates to do things within the season. So like money, relationships, career, publishing things. Yeah, all that. Okay. So now let's talk about some degrees here. Okay. Now, the first one is going to be at 15 degrees. And let me pull up the chart so you guys can see. Wouldn't that be better? Let me see this chart. Now I have 100 windows open, you guys. 100 windows open. It's like, oh my gosh. And I'm praying to God that I do not hang you guys up while I'm closing all these windows. Oh my gosh. Clean up. We can't talk about Virgo if we are not talking about I mean, if we're not organized. Okay, so let me go to the eclipse here. And the first eclipse, where are we in our date? September 7th. Okay, we'll talk about this one. We'll actually talk about both of them. So be aware, I will tell you what dates we are if you get confused. If you guys have any questions, write them down below. Let me scooch over so I can get my limelight. It is Leo season, right? Is it still Leo season? Yes. Okay, so oh no, it's Virgo season. Happy solar return to all my Virgos. Okay, now I really, that's why I was cleaning up. Anyway, okay, so sometimes I'm so much in the present, I'm not in the current times. I have to reflect every morning. Anyway, there it is. You know, as an astrologer, you're everywhere. You're in the past, you're in the future. And now I'm in a present. Okay, so let's talk about degrees. I want you to understand the importance of why the degrees are so important when it comes to these eclipses here, okay? Now, 15 degrees is what we have for this first eclipse. This is the eclipse. You see that this eclipse here, this lunar total eclipse in the sign Pisces, is lunar total is actually that full moon, okay? And this one is opposing here. And it's at 15 degrees. It's at 15 degrees. The nodes are sitting very close. This is going to be an impactful eclipse, okay? And 15 degrees is significant. Usually you hear 0 and 29 if you know anything about astrology. 0 is like the beginning, 29 is like at the end, and it's like these are like powerful degrees. But 15 is really important because it's about a midpoint. And it's where the energy is, where it's mature, right? It's stable, but it's not fully developed, and it's not raw like 0, and it's not, you know, the ending of 29, but there's a peak, and there is this full maturity happening of the sign. And the midpoint, the middle of something, the middle of a journey of something says a lot about a lot of things. Also too, 15 also represents Gemini, and Gemini is very fast. Gemini is a communicative degree. It's also, yeah, just very social, very fast, fast, fast. It's dealing with communication across all boards, writing, social media. Okay, you get the gist. Okay, and now it's in the sign Pisces. Okay, now the other one that is, wait, let me see. Oh. Also, see, this is why I have my notes because I'll forget what I'm saying. Because this is at 15 degrees, when a planet, and we'll use Pluto, but Pluto's a bad example. I just want you to understand. But let's say Pluto was Mars or Venus, and let's say it moved into Pisces really fast and it hit 15 degrees. When a planet hits that sign at 15 degrees, there is something important going to happen that day. Okay, because you're still in this eclipse energy. So I gave you some dates here. October 5th, the moon will be coming back and hit 15 degrees in Pisces. Look out for that and see how that's going to impact you. Now, also Pisces season, which happens in March. All these planets are going to be hitting us. The Mars, Mercury, Venus, all that's going to come, the sun, and they're going to hit 15 degrees. And that's going to be March 2026. Let's see how the energy plays out then, okay? Now, on the 21st, that, let me switch eclipses for you, okay? And I hope I'm not confusing anyone. Now, this other eclipse, let me remove. That's happening on the 21st, okay, September 21st. The solar partial eclipse, it is happening in the sign Virgo. I'll explain that a little bit later, but it is at 29 degrees. I want you to understand, look, Mars is at 29 degrees. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of things beginning, and then this one's ending. That says a lot of what's going on. Look, this is starting, this is ending, this is even kind of starting, but not really. This is starting, this is starting, this is starting, and then this huge emotional energy of ending. Let's see how that is for the collective and personally. But that is a pattern that we cannot ignore. Okay. Now, dates for first of all, 29 is an important degree because it's an anarchic degree and an anoretic degree. Okay. It's a crisis point. It is where things are closing up, and it's going to close up in the themes of Virgo. Something is closing up far as your health, far as your service, far as your work, far as your daily habits, discernment, order, diminishing and clearing out of something. Service to others. Did I say that? Is really big. Okay. There's going to be an urgent point of this has to hurry up. This has to hurry up. We have to close this. Okay. Work, 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 work. We have to complete this project that's dealing with work. Okay. 29 is ending, it's mastery, and it's urgency. And we have an eclipse there. Okay. So any planets that hit that 29 anaretic degree, then we are going to be dealing with some interesting things. Okay. So October 5th, the moon will be in that sign. No, no, wrong one. Okay. October 13th, Venus will hit 29 degrees. And it's going to be an urgency of something dealing with some social relationships, female, women, team, harmony, balance, creativity. That's going to be something to watch. Okay. So October 13th. On the 18th, the moon will be moved back into Virgo. Let's see how that plays out as well. Okay. Um, Now, put it down if you have a sun, a moon, a rising, and you feel like it's close to these eclipse. I'll help you out. I'll give you some tips. Okay. So go ahead and put that down in the comments and I will help you out. Now, let me tell you the difference between a lunar and solar eclipse. Okay. So on the 7th, we have the lunar. On the 21st, we have yes, the solar, and it's right here on my face. Okay. Now a total lunar eclipse is a full moon on steroids. The solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids. Okay. And what happens? Okay, so then when you have the lunar eclipse, which is the first one, which is very impactful because they're close to that nodes. Okay, you are talking about endings, revelations. You're talking about hidden truths. You're talking about feelings, emotions, secrets, emotional intensity, relationships, your inner world, your subconscious, past karma. It's also about releasing. It's also about having light brought up to you and having an aha moment when it comes to some emotional breakthroughs. Now, when you have the solar eclipse and you have that new moon on steroids, usually new moons are like new beginnings, right? And the full moons are always, we always know it's very emotional. And when you have the solar eclipse, and this one is in the sign Virgo, and two, I want you to know that the other one, a full moon, is already emotional, and it's in the sign Pisces, so it's going to be really sensitive and emotional. Okay, so be ready for that for the 7th, and it doesn't have to be exactly on the 7th, but also too, don't do any full moon, new moon rituals if you're one of those people who do that. Not during the eclipse because you can never predict what happens during eclipse. What I am telling you is just common themes and knowledge of astrology, but I can't give you this hardcore accurate prediction unless I know your personal chart. We can get a little bit into that. I can give you a roundabout things, but eclipse is so like, okay, okay. If you guys are not watching this and you're listening to this podcast, I was just moving my hands really crazy, okay? And you're trying to catch it, and it's just like, what is the pattern? Well, that's the whole point. It's not a pattern. It's God working His juju or His magic. Okay, now. When you have a new moon, which is a solar eclipse, this is an energy of manifesting and new energy, but you don't manifest. God's going to give you new energy, but it's new beginnings, it's fresh starts, it's faded opportunities, and it's a reset button. And usually this could be dealing with future growth or some new cycles or your destiny, okay? Renewal, external changes, okay? Let me see what else we have here. Okay, so now let's get into the 7th. We'll get into the first eclipse now. Now I'm just going to do it in order so we won't confuse things, but I just wanted you to understand things, okay? Now, with this first eclipse, it is going to be called it's a blood moon. It's going to look red. Get exciting, take your pictures, go outside, see what it looks like, okay? Yes, so there is that. Also, it's going to be 1 hour and 22 minutes. What did I say about the timing? A year and about 22 months is what we're going to, almost 2 years, right? You can see this eclipse in Asia, Western Australia, part of Europe, Africa, East Australia, and New Zealand. North and South America, you won't see it. So, as a collective, it's mostly going to be something happening over there. That's usually what they say about eclipse, but God's in charge here. Okay. A total eclipse is usually the strongest far as the strength. And we'll see because this one is also very close to the nodes. So get ready for that. Lunar eclipse or full moons. I said that. Reap what we've sown type of energy. And it's very emotionally charged. Turning points, faded shifts, shadow work. Okay. Yes. Get ready for that. Now, let me see. Now it's connected to the North Node. Okay, so because it's connected to the North Node, then that means that there's something new happening. There's some growth and expansion. There's new beginnings. There's rapid growth. Now, but this is a full moon, and this is very impactful. And it's like, who doesn't like something new? But apparently, you may not like this new situation. Okay. There's something that's going to be opposing that ego, that's opposing the physical glow up, the happiness, the success of things. And not saying it won't be successful, but this is the emotions that you are feeling, the male versus the female, the subconscious versus the conscious. There is an issue here. And it's because something new is coming into your life. Okay. Events feel fated and unavoidable. And there's acceleration. It's your destiny. There's going to be beginnings, but it's disguised as an ending. That was a perfect example there, okay? Especially when you got it in Pisces, okay? Divine timing. There is divine course of correction. There's something that's uncomfortable, but it's going to cause growth. Now, there could be a collective push as well. And God is telling everyone to move forward. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Let me see what else I have just on a North Note. That's it. Okay. Pisces. Let's talk about Pisces themes. Okay. Because I said there is something that you have to release and something that's going to be ending, but it looks like you heard what I said earlier. There's some growth, but it looks like it's at an ending because you're dealing with this Pisces. Pisces energy, okay, is about releasing, it's about forgiving, it's about surrendering to God, surrendering to that divine energy. Okay, I'm letting go of the illusions, letting go of old emotions, old emotional baggage. Bag lady, you gonna miss your bus. It's that energy. Okay, let go of that so you can get on the bus. Okay, powerful time for forgiveness and closure. Spiritual awakening. It's talking about heighten your intuition. There's some psychic downloads. There's vivid dreams. Again, remember, write down those journals. Stronger connection to the world that is unseen, the things that don't make sense, but it feels like it makes sense. Okay, the words that are coming out of their mouth is not the language you know. They're speaking in tongues, but the emotions and the feelings is very clear. Okay, there's compassion and empathy. Pisces energy represents charity and caring about service of others. Both of these are about service, just so you know, that Pisces and Virgo energy are about service to others. Pisces alone is about endings. It's also about escapism. It's about addiction. It's unhealthy tendencies that you want to be in denial. You don't want to pay attention. You want to overindulge. That could be a big thing with you in this eclipse. Also, there's creativity with Pisces. It's very feminine, it's very sensitive. There's art and imagination, there's inspiration, poetry, music. Maybe you are now guided to work in that light or to work with others. Or maybe it's something that's very transcendent, that you see an art piece or you hear a poem or something very creative just nudges you to push you into the right direction. Okay. Pisces energy is a mystery. It deals with corruption. It deals with all those secret societies. Okay. A lot of sexuality energy is with this. That's a little more Scorpio with the taboo, but the things that are very hidden and illusions is what you get with that. So, hidden truths, illusions, veils could be lifted. Reality feels like it's blurred. What is once concealed could now be revealed with this eclipse. Okay. Also, too, any type of healing, collective healing, too. Now, Pisces represents defeat and the immune system, fluids. So there could be something with that. Pisces is also in charge of all drugs, all medication. Medication is a drug, poisons and oil, the fish, water. So those are some things that could be happening as well. I said dreams, escapism. I'm pretty sure I said that. Anybody dealing with any healing work, anyone who's a spiritual guide, a tarot reader, okay? Anyone dealing with any water related jobs, these things could all be very important to you for as the eclipse. Okay. And also too, we got to look at the rulers of this eclipse, and the ruler of Pisces has two rulers, and this is for the September 7th eclipse. It has Neptune as a ruler and it has Jupiter as a ruler. Okay. One is a traditional, that's Jupiter, and what is a modern, that's Neptune. We'll look at both of them. Let's start with the new one, modern, because because I love Neptune, okay? Neptune is retrograding in Aries at 0 degrees. It's sextile Pluto, which is also retrograding in Aquarius, which is an air sign, at 0 and 1 degree. It's also sextile Uranus, that is an air sign in Gemini, at 1 degree as well. So it's sitting in a minor grand trine, okay? And this means that Neptune is very important to these two planets, and Neptune is ruling this eclipse. That's going to be very impactful because it's connected very close to the nodes. I want you to understand this. The nodes also represent karmic energy. It is destined. You put some energy out, and now the energy is coming back for you, okay? Now, Neptune at that grand trine, it's got that apex sitting there at this air grand trine. And so, well, not air, well, those two are air, but you are sitting there. It's Neptune's in fire, okay? But it's the holding key to Uranus awakening, and Pluto is all about transformation and intensity. This makes the eclipse deal with some collective evolution. I say evolution, not just emotional release like a normal eclipse, but there's some dissolving of Neptune, of the illusions, but it is causing some intensity or a transformation or some healing or some psychological deepness happening here in Aquarius. Aquarius represents the people, Aquarius represents the future, and Aquarius represents boycotting, okay, the people. Now also too, there's some breakthroughs with Uranus, and Neptune is dissolving the secrets with some breakthroughs when it comes to Uranus. So something in the news, because these two are air signs, could be coming forward with this eclipse. We could be getting a lot of information, and we won't be lost in the sauce. It could be dealing with a leader, it could be dealing with something new, it could be dealing with yourself and how you present yourself, or the illusion of self, or the control of self. This is planet that's giving us that controlling your speech and saying what you cannot say, or controlling how you can, what you can do in social media. Pluto in Aquarius also represents the transformation of the intellect, and depending on AI and AI technology. Both of these are dealing with AI technology as well. So themes of that could be happening, and there could be some type of illusion lifted or awareness there when you got the Neptune there. All right, it's very positive on that aspect. However, remember, it's very impactful, and you're talking about an ending of forgiveness or releasing of something, right? But then it's also conjunct that North Node. So something new is still added. I just want you to, I'm trying to put it all together for you for that first eclipse. Now, the traditional ruler is Jupiter. Now, I was taught through my astrology classes, okay, when I first was learning astrology, that the traditional ruler really helps us really know more about the predictions here. And Jupiter is sitting very happy in a sign Cancer. It likes being in a sign Cancer. And Jupiter role is all about expansion. It's all about divine timing and faith and believing in God and being very optimistic. It's sitting pretty, right? It's sextile the sun. However, there is an issue because it is squaring Mars, okay? So there's some tension in us being motivated, action, our drive, and when it comes to relationships, when it comes to being passive aggressive, when it comes to anger, when it comes to deciding, is this for ourselves or others, there's an issue there here. And this is a cardinal square. So again, new beginnings. You're trying to start something new. And there's some issues there. Now, Jupiter is a very benefic planet. So this conflict could still be positive. Any Jupiter negative aspect, it seems negative at the beginning, but it ends up positive at the end. Okay. Yeah. Also, too, Jupiter is sitting here and is trining the eclipse. So that's very positive. It brings a sense of faith, hope, optimism, spiritual connection, even dealing with the people and everyone happy, and justice and fairness for all as well. Okay. Now let me see what else are here. So this could be, if we put this all together, this could be the ending of some secrets or illusions. There could be emotional dependencies, and you're letting that go. You're not going to be emotionally dependent as well. Some old spiritual patterns that didn't work for you, you are releasing that. Okay. You step into your divine path, in your true path. That could be happening. Okay. There is purpose and moving forward. Remember, there is some tension with Mars. There is some tension there, and it could be dealing with something, dealing with law, could be relationships, your lover, your partnerships, a friendship, a female. There is some issues there. Other than that, it's because something new is happening. So be aware of that. Let me see what else we have. Yeah, so that is what we have. Let me see. Oh, also too, let me talk about the aspects of the eclipse. Those were the rulers. So you have the gist of, and the rulers of that energy is going to affect the eclipse. So you can be very aware of the divine timing, and there's a lot of spiritual things that makes a lot of sense with this eclipse. But yet there is an issue when it comes to your motivation and your energy and your drive. Okay. Now, and that's going to affect something that you need to release, but something new coming in your life. Now, this eclipse is also opposing Mercury. And when it opposes Mercury, there is the energy of mental communication, socializing, overthinking. A lot of communication happening here. That so far seems like the common theme. This could also be communicating too, because it's a air sign. Air signs like to communicate. So that's easy to predict because, I said eclipses like to be all over the place, but there's clearly a theme here of communication. Also, it's at a 15 degree, which is another aspect of communication. So we're going to get something strong when it comes to the power of the word. Social media could also be day-to-day travel as well, because air signs like to travel. So you have that. Okay, let me see. This opposition can highlight the gap between rational thinking and intuitive feeling. You are talking about that Pisces against that Virgo. Virgo likes tangible. Pisces is like la la la. La la la. I mean, good la 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 though, but a la la la. Okay. Like, I don't need to see it. I don't need tangible results. I feel it. Okay. So there could be some misunderstanding with that, or over analyzing emotionally, or feeling insecure because someone wants the real or tangible results. But it's like, no, but I feel it. And you need some clarity there. Okay. So mental versus emotional tension. There's an issue with discernment. There's revelations versus the facts. Again, feelings versus actual what is the fact. Okay, the need to reflect is going to be very important. However, another positive thing is that Jupiter is in the Cancer and the moon is ruling Jupiter, but it's very happy when it comes to the moon. It's trining the moon. Okay, so it's very supportive. There's something big happening in a very positive way. There's a lot of healing, emotional nourishment, dealing with your home, your mom, your past, inner security, blessings, emotional growth, opportunity, and spiritual and emotional expansion. It's very soft. There's a lot of hope and there's a lot of faith. Okay, so two negative things, a lot of positive things. One negative thing is that your rational mind is saying no. Your drive towards moving forward and getting something, there's a tension there because there's something new happening. Okay. Other than that, believe in God, believe in intuition, keep the faith, then this will work out. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we have. I have pulled a card earlier. Oh, here it is. For this, and I pulled the Magician card because we're talking about Pisces. We're going to have to get into the spiritual element here, right? Now, if we just go off of the picture, because Pisces like to look at the image, you have this guy in this picture. He looks like he's doing some type of magic because it is a magician, and it's like he's stirring up stuff. And it just makes me think, just using your divine energy, like put it in your mind and it starts to work. If you really start to feel it, then the energy starts to reveal itself, or it starts to be powerful, or the secret will be lifted, the illusion, the veil will be aware. Also too, you have the infinity sign here. That's infinite possibilities no matter what. So you have that with this eclipse. Let me see what else. You already have the tools God has given you, the intuition, the intellect, the emotional awareness, the creativity, the practical skills. And you can just use this to get whatever that new energy that is coming in your life that's causing some conflict. This is also about revealing any hidden truths. Be aware of that. But you could be the initiator. You could be the manifester. Don't manifest during a full moon, no. During this eclipse, but it's an energy of focusing on the goal too. Okay. Knowledge is the key to success. Don't deceive yourself. You need to realize your potential as well. Now, I know that a lot of things are in la la land, and you do need some substance. You do need someone who's grounded to help you. That Mercury opposing is saying that there needs to be a balance between the I call it the foo-foo, the mystical, the feeling. You do need to have a balance between the energy of grounded and tangible and real results, physical results and facts, versus what you're feeling. Okay, so make sure you have the both, and you will be fine. Okay, let me see. I have some predictions here just on this eclipse alone. Emotional revelations, intuitive, heightened energy. Let me see what else. There may be some needing to assert yourself because you have that Mars and it's very passive aggressive energy, but a lot of personal growth because you have karmic lessons happening, and it's going to be in something that's ending, releasing. It could be a death of some sort. Pisces always represents a death. Yes, but endings, transformation, spiritual awakenings. There could be some health and healing dealing with water as well. Leaders and authorities. Maybe it's something dealing with a spiritual leader or authority that is here to inspire you, or maybe there is something dealing with charity and a cause, and you're helping people because you feel like there's oneness. Pisces also represents no boundaries. Okay, so the boundaries could be lifted and released so you can receive the love and give the love. If someone who's like this, now they're like this, and they're able to open up. Emotional intensity and compassion. Personally, some hidden personal insights. Also, high energy of sensitivity, maybe sensitivity in your feet. Maybe there needs to be a detox or a cleanse happening. Mercury's involved. Mercury also involves commerce and trade and money. Stocks could be an issue as well, or losing or releasing stocks, or the details of the finances could get lost. Could be some complications in travel, and we could be realizing what are the secrets behind traveling as well, because Mercury does represent travel, and maybe travel at work. So like if you work at an airport or something like that. Hidden danger or deception. Someone close to you could be acting in secret, and this is also a good time for discernment, and that could be lifted. Yeah, but it could be a global compassion. Like when Mars was in Cancer and it was retrograding and it was fires, there was Pisces energy. So a lot of people were very compassionate with the LA victims. There could be a power shift because that Neptune trine Pluto Uranus pattern, and it's retrograding. These planets are retrograding. So there's something of a redoing, a re-saying, or repeating, or a shift happening. Let me see. I talked about secrets. Be careful of any poisons that could be revealed. Maybe even oil related incidents could be happening as well. I think I said everything with that. Just make sure you trust your intuition, and also stay balanced with grounded energy. Okay. So let me see if I have any other advice on here. Align thoughts, emotions, and actions together. Channel Pisces sensitive energy. Maybe you got to be more creative. Maybe you have to be more spiritually aligned. Maybe you have to seek solitude, not loneliness, solitude. Maybe you have to release and forgive someone. That could be coming up for you as well. And you need to be open to releasing and forgiving, or it's going to cause some bigger problems. Okay. Trust that the endings and revelations are preparing you for something new, because it is opening you up for something new in life. Whatever that is going to happen with this eclipse, it's going to prepare you for something new. Okay. So, bag lady, get rid of all the baggage. Get rid of all the baggage so you can have this new energy that God is preparing for our lives. I say our lives because we all are going to be affected with this, right? Now, let's talk about the other eclipse. Usually I put the eclipse in separate videos, but no, I think you guys can handle one video, okay? The other eclipse, which is happening on the 21st. Now, usually the lunar eclipse would be stronger. Solar eclipse, yes, okay? Now, the issue here is that the reason why this one is going to be big is because it's 29 degrees, okay? 29 degrees. So the reason why I feel like this one's going to be important is because there is an urgency to shut things down. Okay, now this is going to happen at 1:29 p.m. It's going to end at 5:53 p.m. ED time. What is ED? Eastern D time. What is, because standard? So D. Okay. I had to look on Google to see the length of this eclipse, but it's 4 hours and 24 minutes. So it could last up to 4 years. Okay? Could last up to 4 years. And that's not a problem. It's like someone getting a new relationship, or like a job, okay? Because you are talking about Virgo energy, okay? So, or a new health project or something like that. So, it's fine. That is 4 years. Do not look at that as bad, but mostly the southern hemisphere. New Zealand, Australia, East Coast, Pacific Islands, and parts of Antarctica. And whenever you have a solar eclipse, remember you're talking about a new moon. So you're talking about new beginnings, you're talking about unfinished business, you're talking about collective shifts, you're talking about revelations that happen through time. Yeah, so fresh starts is what you get with this. At the same time, it is conjunct the South Node. So it's like, how do you do that, Sway? The South Node is about the past. You got new beginnings, but it's connected to the past, okay? And remember, that's the dragon's tail. And when you have an eclipse attached to the dragon's tail, it's also about timeless service and things that are everlasting that are not selfish. And it's practicing compassion. And it's usually connected with offering something back because you're dealing with karma, and now it's payback time. Okay, so this is hugely connected with karma and what did you give out, because now it's coming back for you. Also, this is huge about releasing. What is needed to complete that project wasn't fulfilled, and now it's coming back saying, this was the past. There's some unfinished business, of course, in 29 degrees, unfinished business that needs to be done in the Virgo. We'll get into the Virgo. It is really hot. Hold on. Oh, I realize I have the window open and it's summertime. I was about to ask my daughter, what are you baking? No, it's just hot. Okay, on the negative, and I'm sitting under lights. Okay, on the negative side, okay, so I felt like that was positive. I don't know if it felt that way. But on the negative side, it can bring about a situation most symbolic of traditional eclipse. So you're talking about some low self-esteem. You feel powerless. You feel like there's something that's taking advantage of you. You have no control. It's something that you are acting out in a very uncharacteristic way. This is not part of your character. South Node represents old patterns, karmic baggage, what feels familiar but no longer serves you. Normally, with this, you do have the new beginning, but with the South Node, it's about clearing that space first instead of planting the seeds for the future. What you get when you have any new moon and when you have this type of eclipse, this eclipse is pulling you backwards to review. It's saying you can't start something new because you didn't finish this, and it's at 29 degrees. So hurry the F up, okay? There is some unresolved business or something you are not forgiving or releasing, and it's in 18 degrees. That is the lunar, and that is the lunar nodes are in 18 degrees. That is a Virgo degree. Again, clean it out, diminish, make it smaller. There's something about your health, something about your work, something about your routine, something about your service, and you're not giving that out. So you need to think about that. Also, too, a partial eclipse is very transitional. Unlike a total eclipse, the effects may feel less dramatic. The other eclipse may be way stronger. Again, the nodes were closer, and that's usually what you get with the blood moon. However, with this eclipse, because it's at 29 degrees, a lot of people might be feeling this because there's an urgency, okay? But there could be a collective letting go, personal releasing, karmic and rebalancing, faded beginnings. You could be feeling energy drained and a lot of paths coming up. So, yes. Now, Virgo themes. I think I talked about a lot of Virgo themes, but you're talking about health, you're talking about daily habits, you're talking about your routine. How do you digest things? As well, work, service, responsibilities. Are you critical? Are you being perfect? Are you moving slow? Are you paid attention to the details? The systems, the orders, the efficiency. That could be really important. That could be dealing with this. I told you last eclipse in Virgo was Elon firing everybody. Doge, okay? He was cleansing out, and it was about work, and he felt like he was being efficient. And that is an eclipse in Virgo. You're just minding your business at work, and all of a sudden you get fired. Okay, so this eclipse is coming back up, but there is a closure. It's at 29 degrees happening. Now, with this eclipse in Virgo, we have, let me see. Oh, Mercury is the ruler with this eclipse in Virgo, and Mercury is sitting over here in the sign Libra. Okay, hold on. I got a comment. Best viewers on Streamboat. Well, hello, commercial. Welcome. All right. So, Anyway, someone was putting up like an ad for themselves if you guys are listening. But Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse, okay? And Mercury is sitting here in the sign Libra. It's opposing Neptune. Ooh. So there is some deception here. There's something that's very secretive that we can't not quite see. Neptune is retrograding, so Mercury's not working as best. The intuition is off. It's redoing something in regards to endings and releasing, or deception and secrets there. But Mercury is a little lost in the sauce, okay? And it is the ruler. Mercury in Libra plays a huge role on how it's going to give out the information with this eclipse. And there's something dealing with communication, but processing information, and it gets lost in a sauce. Now, let me see. It is sitting in a kite here. If you did not know, there is the kite. And I find that Mercury sitting in a kite, the ruler, is very positive when it comes to anything processing information and moving fast and communicating and putting in all the information. It's the air grand trine, so that's very positive. And there's an energy to innovate, try new things, socialize, communication, and processing. I can't say processing enough, just in processing information. Now the challenge here is this Neptune, and it's at 0 degrees, so that's a potent degree. That's a potent degree. This is Mars is at 29 degrees. This is like cray cray, okay? But let me stay focused. But the Neptune is going to be a huge power play whenever we have a kite. This is really the focus, these two. And there's something that is communicating, but there is this illusion or secret that's deceptive, and it could be moving really fast. Be aware of that. Let me see. Tension point with dynamic tension. Oh, no, let me see if I have any illusions, idealism, spiritual vision, fog, emotional impulses. Yeah, Aries is very impulsive. Again, it's very fast. This is a very fast energy. So something could be happening very fast, and there's an urgency to close it out. Be aware of that. But you're focused to discern truth from illusion. You may receive messages and insight and communication that's very confusing and misleading when you have this. Now, Mercury is the ruler and it's in Libra, so it's all about being diplomatic. You're dealing with law, you're dealing with partnerships, dialogue, clarity, intellect, having balance when it comes to communication. And this is all a part of this eclipse here. So Mercury is the ruler, and it's basically in charge of how this eclipse is happening. And Mercury is saying, I'm a little lost in the sauce. Things are moving very fast. I want you to be aware of that. And it could be something dealing with relationships as well. Okay. Let me see what else. Okay, also too, this eclipse is opposing Saturn that's retrograding in Pisces. I just did a video of Mercury and Neptune conjunct. It's very important. I want you to understand that, because we're dealing with that for a good minute. So check out that video if you haven't already. But the eclipse opposing Saturn, and Saturn is retrograding in Pisces. Again, this Virgo Pisces energy, this sacrificing, this releasing, this forgiving energy is still there. But now Saturn is saying you need to take responsibility in it. Okay. You need to be serious. We need to carry the burdens. We need to set some boundaries. This polarity of Virgo and Pisces is learning with precision, but yet surrendering with control, authority, boundaries, lessons about faith, trust. The fact that you need to release control. That retrograde is also about reviewing and karmic lessons. There's a lot of redoing. Okay, for this eclipse season. It's no fun. Who wants to I got Gemini placement, so I don't want to redo and move fast. I want to move fast. Okay, so I don't want to repeat and redo stuff, but God is saying that we have to do it. Okay. The Virgo is the old systems and habits and control, and Saturn in Pisces is about trusting the unseen, being mature when it comes to spirituality, surrendering to the rigid order of things. And this energy wants all the order. It wants full control, wants no surprises, because it wrote a list, and the list needs to be right. And it's opposing this burden, this heaviness, this weight, this border, this boundary, and it's not quite working. This also could represent a leader, a mentor who is ending of some sort. And now you got to hurry up and figure out how to work out the details of that. That is also okay. The eclipse is about releasing old Virgo patterns, control, critique, service. sacrificing yourself as well, while Saturn and Pisces forces for maturity and a turning point when it comes to anything material. This also too is sextile Jupiter as well. So that's positive. There's action here that you need to work on, and it will be very positive for you. There's an opportunity and it's supporting your energy. It doesn't force the action. But it is there in the sky, and if you use it, it will work out for you. And Jupiter is in Cancer, and it's all about growth. It's all about emotional expansion. It's about nurturing and your family and your past and your home and your intuition. And it's very protective. So you do have that energy of whatever is happening from your past that you can really work on if you choose to, because the energy is out there. It provides a safety net of feeling and emotions. And so that is positive. Yeah, so that is what we have. Venus is the ruler of Mercury. I went even more in details, and I want you to understand that it is at 29 degrees too. So there is an urgency of something with relationships in a big way, or even harmony and balance or law happening for the collective with this situation. Okay. Venus is also sitting in a yod, and it is also dealing with this energy here. And it's sitting kind of, it's sitting pretty. It's very happy. There is harmony there, but it wants some closure at the same time. So we do have that energy. Yeah, let me see what else we have here. Um, Mars at 29 degrees Libra. No, I think I've said the most here. Um, Sextile square is squaring Jupiter. We discussed that. I think I talked about that already. I'm just trying to make sure I have everything. It's not sitting in a yacht. These are at 1 degrees. This is at 29 degrees. I'm sorry. But Mars is at 29 degrees. So there is an urgency. It doesn't look unhappy. There is this issue of some healing that needs to be done. Of course, because we're dealing with the eclipse, it's going to pose Chiron, and it's the healing of self, or some type of new healing that needs to be done as well. Some predictions of this eclipse. I have this down at the bottom, okay? There could be, because we got Mercury involved, right? Mercury is a ruler. There is a huge energy of efficiency and how your brain puts things in order happening, a big part of this eclipse. This also could be dealing with some healthcare shakeups. This could be dealing with anything dealing with work, medicine, anything dealing with being precise, and releasing, and spirituality or burdens that are dealing with something that you didn't forgive. Food could be a thing, like maybe a recall of food or processing food, or anything dealing with the gut and health. Okay. Climate issue. Virgo is the earth sign, so it is dealing more of the ground, not earthquakes, but something that's dealing with farming or wheat as well. Let me see. Any work is a big thing with this. Service cycles that could be ending, so your job or any your daily responsibilities. Are you working out? Are you not working out every day? Stuff like that. Your diet. If you're trying to be perfect, there could be a releasing of that energy and not being perfect. Like it makes me think of like a TikToker or a YouTuber, and they finally say, you know what, I don't need to clean the background. I don't need to have a script. I can just be real. That could be happening, okay? As well. Because it's an eclipse and it's in Antarctic degree, there is strong sense of karmic closure before leaving into Libra energy. So the energy of get it serious, be for real, get the tangible results before you get to socializing and caring about aesthetics and beauty. Yeah, but medicine, for both of these eclipses happening for real, public health, also too. Old traditions too could be happening, a change in that. And yeah, let me see if I have anything else. That's, yeah. So eclipse season can feel very intense, especially with the first one, and we're going to feel a sense of closure with the second one. But it's also a powerful opportunity for clarity, releasing and forgiving, and starting some new beginnings. Remember, there is a service that we need to give to others. Remember, we have to focus on divine timing, and also too, we need to have the balance between facts and what we feel our intuition. There's a comic shift here to help you grow and learn and align with your highest path. If you want more insight, don't forget to join my private group Also, please, if you enjoyed all this, you got a lot of information, okay? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. That really helps. Share this video because I break down all the transits, the retrogrades, all the eclipses, and it prepares you for a better day and understanding and forgiving others as well. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I am out. I will see you guys next time. If you do have questions and I ended this live, go ahead and write them down below and I will answer your questions. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.